last weekend in Charlotte for the Four Wide Nationals. He'll be here in the Freak Nation. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., who benefited from the Speed Freaks Mojo, got him a P6 this afternoon here at Texas Motor Speedway. He'll be here. And Kevin Harvick, as he was inducted into the Texas Motorsports Hall of Fame, he joins us here in the Freak Nation. We talk about a number of things, including Smoke's manhood. We talk about that. Okay. We talk about how or how the edge was taken off. If you remember this, Freak Nation, and I'm reminded of it when I was reminded of it when they were talking about the stories with Kevin Harvick here at Texas Motor Speedway. Crasher, I don't know if you were here with me when Kyle Busch, Ron Hornaday in that November race. Yes. Were you here with me for that?
We were leaving the track, obviously truck race, so it was at night. We were in the parking lot, and then all of a sudden, the entire place just had a change of atmosphere. So, yeah, we went back to the media center. We figured out quickly what was going on.
Kyle Busch, Ron Hornaday. Ron Hornaday got into Kyle Busch. Then Kyle Busch got into Ron Hornaday. Unfortunately, this was when they dropped the yellow. When they dropped the caution, Kyle Busch did not stop and basically took Ron Hornaday out of the championship chase. And Kyle Busch was suspended. But Kevin Harvick was Ron Hornaday's team owner, truck owner at the time. So we talk about that in this interview. It's a good 6-7 minutes with Kevin Harvick. Again, like I said at the top of the show last hour, I'd like to pulled up a bottle of Jack Daniels and shot the S with Kevin Harvick about the things that he and I've seen over the last 20, 25 years here in the Freak Nation, as we'll celebrate 25 years coming up in June. Started on one radio station in Los Angeles, and now here we are, Freak Nation, 25 years later doing this thing. Be sure you follow us on X, Facebook, Instagram, the website, speedfreaks.tv. Joey Logano joined us last hour. His crew chief, Paul Wolf, was in here as well. Be sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, as you can see and watch those interviews. Or if you're a wise individual, you'll be sure to watch them again tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon at 12 p.m. Eastern and Pacific on Racer Network. Freak Nation.
Is YouTube where somebody is confusing, as we speak right now, someone's confusing Richie for Kenny and asking why he's wearing a Ferrari hat?
Brandon, I don't know if you're still watching, Brandon. Brandon, that was his name, right? Yeah, Brandon, if you're still watching, yes, don't mix up Kenny and I. Kenny does not like Formula One. Okay, Kenny is a Formula One hater, does not understand it, and that's okay. We don't clown on Kenny for that. He just doesn't understand it. Brandon, I am the Ferrari fan now. Yes, when I say that more succinctly, it's the 44 right here on the side of my hat. I am a Lewis Hamilton fan. So wherever Lewis goes, I will go. So if he leaves Ferrari because he was pissed off at his engineer all day today, dropping some bombs out there over the radio on the broadcast. If he goes to Haas next year, I'll be a Haas fan. If he goes to Cadillac, I'll be a Cadillac fan. I'm not very loyal to my teams. I'm loyal to my drivers.
You're loyal to the drivers.
Yes.
Which is most motorsports fans.
Speaking of, did Cadillac ever drop the news that we were looking for over the weekend?
So they had their event on Saturday night there in Miami, and all it was just their branding. They just revealed their team logo.
That's it?
That was it.
That was the big announcement?
Their big announcement that they were teasing was just their black and white logo. Cadillac Formula One team. Even though there were protesters outside of the venue who were big Checo Perez fans. Checo Perez is the big name that's been rumored to drive for Cadillac starting next year. So, and that has been 30 seconds of Formula One. Back to you.
Because Richie, I don't know anything about it. That's what I like. I'm just letting that just sit out there in the ether. I know nothing about Formula One. No, I choose not to talk about Formula One because it puts me to freaking sleep.
Today, Miami Grand Prix would not have.
Well, look,
you're in the middle of Texas Motor Speedway. I get it. But
like
had you been able to watch the Miami Grand Prix, you would have probably peeled a little bit more of your fandom back inside your soul.
Yeah, this is actually a good transition because I was going to ask you guys. I put this out on Twitter, which is this Texas race was seemingly better than we've had over the last month of the season.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But was it enough to change the narrative about this NASCAR season and this car? And the transition here is that I had the Miami Grand Prix on my main TV, and I had the NASCAR race at Texas on my laptop in a smaller screen, and I was locked into Miami, but I was not locked in to Texas until that final 35 laps of the race. And so if you ask me, this does nothing to change the narrative right now around NASCAR. It was okay, but it's not enough to fend off the hounds for me yet. They need more. They need more of this. They need some momentum in NASCAR. The one race isn't quite doing it for me.
If Kansas, this coming up weekend, is exactly like Texas today, maybe not on paper a lot of lead changes, but still delivers some entertainment in the product, especially towards the end of the race. If we get 2 races similar back to back, is that enough? For you, Richie, I should say.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But I think my biggest problem with NASCAR right now is, yes, the Gen 7 car is crap. But the other thing I will add in is this regular season is too goddamn long, man.
It's always been too long.
just want to get to the freaking playoffs already when the intensity of these drivers just ratchets up so much. And that's what makes NASCAR great. And right now, the regular season, we get to the summer months and it's just a slog. Hopefully this little like bracket competition that they're doing for some extra money with the overcosted summer races that we talked about at the tail end of last year. Maybe that provides a little bit of oomph to, watching, and it provides a little bit more entry and a little bit more storylines. But right now it's just, we're in that, just like baseball, right? Where baseball over the summer is just kind of like, okay, we just got to get through this to get to football season, right?
The dog days, yes.
We're in the dog days. That's what it feels like for me right now for NASCAR. We're in the dog days, get to the playoffs.
Shorter season would help. And I know a lot of people hate that, but a shorter season would help.
Mm-hmm. And I know that folks want to ask Richie the same question. What was it about today's race that had you glued to the TV? When you had Michael McDowell, at one time a backmarking team whose only famous move here at Texas was over a decade ago was barrel rolling and barrel rolling and barrel rolling in out of turns 1 into turns 2. But Michael McDowell was Spire Motorsports on the verge of winning a race here at Texas when...
That was after the F1 race was already concluded, though, Ken.
It's like Stroll or Albon running for a win with Formula One, right?
Yeah, that's a good comparison.
But you can't... I don't need to see a G-damn boat sitting on freaking concrete painted like it's the freaking Atlantic Ocean.
With no drains! To clear up all the rain that happened in Miami this weekend. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I really enjoyed the Texas race. I thought it felt like a very traditional 1.5-mile race. My only complaint is that there were not enough passes for the lead. It felt very much like follow the leader. Clean air was king. And I think by the 1.5-mile standards with the Gen 7 car, it was weaker in that sense, but it was still, like, it had some entertainment value to me. And yeah, I think if you have a good one next week coming up at Kansas, it'll do good things for the sport.
And Kansas, remember, Kansas last year brought us one of the great finishes in NASCAR history, right? Mm-hmm. With how close that finish was. Kyle Larson, was that the race he won?
Yep.
Yeah. By literally the slimmest of margins. So hopefully we get a finish like that and we get a photo finish. Then I'm back on, baby. I'm back on.
Bandwagoner.
Yes.
You're right. That's what we need, Crasher. We need Kansas to live up to Kansas as of last year because, again, this is just my fault. I associate, I guess it's K's, I associate Kansas to Kentucky. Kentucky was a POS track. Mm-hmm. Granted, it's owned by our friends at SMI and Bruton Smith Tracks, but Kansas needs to continue to deliver for me to help get Richie back on the bandwagon. Yeah, that finish last year was badass, but a cookie cutter back to back to another cookie cutter. Are we running into an issue of like, oh my gosh, here we go again?
No, because then you have the All-Star race with North Wilkesboro. Then you have the race that takes a week to complete, the 600. And no, we're not. And then Mexico City's a couple weeks later. No. Having 2.5-mile cookie cutter tracks, allegedly, back to back after what we've had the last 4 or 5 weeks, I think this is fine. We've got some good diversity coming up in NASCAR.
All right, Freak Nation, coming up, we have Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Dude benefited from the SpeedFreaks mojo, which, by the way, he also ran in the high-limit race Saturday night here at Texas Motor Speedway. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. will join us here in the Freak Nation. Grabbed him a 6th spot today at Texas. Also coming up, Sean Langdon. He was the 1,000th Top Fuel race winner, former Top Fuel champion, running for Kalitta Motorsports. He'll be joining us here in the Freak Nation. Also, Kevin Harvick here in the Freak Nation. As I do it up from the Freak Nation abode here at Texas Motor Speedway. More freaks coming up. Speed Freaks Pits, Lucas Oil Studios.